Hey, what's good? Zolani, nice meeting you. Welcome, man. Or ma'am, I'm not sure which you are, but we'll just give everybody a couple of minutes to join in, and I'm going to share the screen. So just give me a second. Let me get set up.
People don't stand up and protect their dreams. People are too scared of getting, spoofed in a way. And the irony of it is so many people that.
All righty, I think we almost got it together. So if you're using your audio, I can't hear you. So we'll just give everyone a few minutes to join in. And let me go live here. All right, we'll go live there, and I think we got it set up. So we'll just let people start coming to the live and everything. Welcome to the Spacecast. This is the third one, trying to keep a little momentum going. And I'm just trying to get my my window situated just in case I need to use any of this stuff. And there's really no set script tonight. Any questions? Feel free to join in. Logi Bear, it's good. Appreciate those joining in on TikTok and those joining in on the Zoom. Basically what we do in this meeting is we're kind of talking about higher consciousness and really the lines are open. Yeah. So yo, Logi Bear, what's going on? So yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. Again, we're playing around with this format. If you're seeing this after the fact, then you're seeing the recording of the Zoom. If you're seeing this during the fact on TikTok, you're going to see it look kind of awkward because it's not in alignment, right? So you may have to orient your phone, but it is what it is. And if you're seeing it on the Zoom, you should see what they see live on TikTok. So I guess one of the things I kind of want to go in and get out of the way, there aren't any topics. Okay, cool. Appreciate it, Logi. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, definitely let me know if it can't be heard or can't be seen or anything like that. But I kind of want to recap because there's been a lot that's been going on in the last few years. And just real quick in general, just some thoughts that I had on this year. Past few years. It's like 2020, it's like the eyes were opening. 2021, we got our eyes clearer, and 2022 is where we are now, where I think we're about to start to take action. And I see you connecting to your audio on the Zoom too. Zolani, if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, so but yeah, so it seems like and we're building momentum. I got topics as is. Oh, Logan. What's good, Logan? Yeah, hey, we still gotta have that we still gotta have that talk too, man. Hey, Pyro God, what's good? So yeah, all right, whatever topics you got, man, let's chop it up. I mean, this is what this is about. Hey, what's going on, Gerald? So yeah, whatever you got, Logan. So how far do you think it goes in terms of higher consciousness and its translation in literal abilities? Good question. And honest answer is I don't know. I think we're really just scratching the surface and really getting back into really getting a grasp of what we're capable of. You kind of look at some of the ancient civilizations and some of the things that they built with supposedly less technology than they had. It seems they were higher evolved spiritually, and they were able to do some amazing things. And hey, how's it going, Maria? So, and the question is, how far do you think it goes in terms of higher consciousness and its translation and literal abilities? And that I'm answering the question, I don't know, and just giving an example of ancient civilizations and their high spiritual awareness, their high ability to create things that would take a lot of technology nowadays. So so it's like we're coming back into that power that we had, and who knows what we're able to do. You know, I think that the limits are set by us at the end of the day. The only answer, but I want your opinion. Telekinesis, telepathy, yeah, all that stuff. I mean, we kind of do it to a degree on a level, like a lot of language isn't spoken, so it's not necessarily telepathy. Hey, what's good, Dr. Pringle? What's good? Haim and Robert and Sean, E Money, Sarah, Lucid. Yeah, appreciate everybody joining in. So the question was about our abilities, like as far as how much we can do, how powerful we can be, and like telekinesis, telepathy, and yeah, I think those things. I think anything. Uh-oh, got some audio. That must be you, Zelani. Let me know. Okay, let's see. No audio on my side. Let me see. And if you hear me on that side, Zelani, and let me know if I'm not pronouncing that right. Mute the audio if I'm coming through on that end. All right, cool. So I got your chat up too. So cool. I mean, this is kind of rudimentary, kind of put together, and I appreciate you guys spending your time here. The value is not rudimentary and put together. It's just a production at this point. But we're trying to build momentum. So this is what we're calling a Spacecast. So we're recording this as a podcast, and we're having a live conversation now online and on Zoom as well. So we got hey, what's going on, Biscuit Mama, and the people that are joining in. So so we're trying to create an avenue to have these discussions and just talk about these things openly. And we're really building momentum on this and really expanding it. So there's other conversations that are happening on the side, but we're really just keeping this going. And we'll polish it up, and it will be it'll be a better experience. But at least the environment will be the same. But I think we're coming into our abilities, Logan. I think we're coming into our powers. I think each of us has a specific thing that that we can do well, we have gifts and things of that nature. And then also on the physical side and on the spiritual side as well. And we're awakening to that. That's part of this journey. So it's going to be exciting to see as we learn what we can do or rediscover what we have done before or what we can do as human beings. So that's part of the awakening. It's going to start on a personal level. Each individual is going to realize small things. And it really starts with emotions and the ability of other people to affect you. That's kind of one of the first ways you'll start kind of noticing the change within yourself is when you notice, hey, that person used to affect me in a way, and now they don't. So you're no longer just prone to just necessarily just reacting. Now you're interjecting some consciousness into it. And once you get that space, you can open up that space, realize that you are that space, and then that flips the whole script. And then that's when you're on the journey as the red pill person, and you become crazy to those that haven't had that experience yet. As humans evolve, will we be put through trials and tribulations? I mean, I think that's going on now. I think that's an individual, and appreciate the question, Ego. I think that's life. And it's just a situation that we can learn and evolve from. We call them trials and tribulations and challenges and things of that nature. But we'll continue to have to go through those same trials and tribulations until we learn collectively that working together is the way to get through things. In this society of competition and war and division, is not the way forward. It's going to be cooperation. So hopefully we're on that path. And I do definitely think we're on that path. I think we have the numbers, but I always am, not always optimistic. I always try to think about worst case scenario. And I was talking about this the other day. How would we know if this is worst case scenario or not? Like, you wouldn't know. Like the first Avengers, right? They were in worst case scenario where Thanos got all of the little crystals or whatever and snapped, and half the people were gone. They didn't know they were in worst case scenario. I mean, yeah, they were trying their best to try to stop that, but it still didn't happen. So there are people that are trying to stop this quote unquote worst case scenario. It's not Thanos snapping, but I think you get the idea. But it's still going to take action. And if we do nothing, then we'll continue on the path we're going. So that's part of our evolution, is for us to take responsibility as humans for our own growth, our own governance, and how we allow the planet to be treated, right? So and we're getting there, So this right here is what I was talking about as far as kind of summarizing some things, just some random thoughts to kind of get the conversation started. We kind of talked about 2020 being eyes open, 2021 eyes clear, and 2022 is spirituality in action. So it's not about acquiring more information at this point, and then going to this point. You are who you are, and this is something that I had to kind of pump the brakes on myself as far as acquisition of knowledge. What do you do with that knowledge? How do you apply it? What is the value of it? Is it beneficial? You can know things just to know them, but what is the benefit of it? That's where I come in. I have kind of 10 minutes out. Okay, I can now. Can you? Now, do you just want to? I can see your messages, but I can't hear you if you're speaking on the Zoom. But I'm with you, and that's and to those that can't read, this is Alani basically saying that he has a template of how we can structure ourselves, and that's excellent, because that's part of what this is. I'm calling it like a think tank. to where we're, so, and that goes to the third part, right? There is no script. And I know I'm jumping around kind of what I'm saying, but there is no script. So we're creating how we want to structure ourselves and how we want to govern ourselves as the people that are experiencing the structure and the governance, right? So we talked about before creating the reality you want to experience. So this is that process. But first, what I think is a good first step is to in problem solving, a good first step is to understand the current situation. So the more you learn about the current situation, the more you learn about the problem, if you will, the more the solution will, the more you will know about how to solve it. So first step is learning the current situation. And we have enough knowledge. I think we understand something needs to change. We just don't know how and when and why and what and where and all of this stuff. So this is part of the think tank of us coordinating. And that's really what it comes down to. So many people talking about let's get it together. Let's get together, current situation, and being entirely honest. What do you mean, ego, as far as current situation? Yeah, let me know what you mean on that. Because yeah, there's different levels to the current situation, definitely. Hey, Janice, how's it going? So yeah, let me know what you mean on that. But going back to the whole script, there is no script. We're creating the script. So for those that are joining this and a part of this, this is a part of the script. And it's just one person, it's just another person on the other end of this, but together is where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And we haven't seen that yet, as far as a movement collectively. And again, the information is there, the knowledge is there. For those that are on the spiritual path, again, you are who you are. So once you realize that, you can learn more about yourself and more information about yourself, and that's fine. But those people that want to take action and that want to get started with the next phase of really putting this out in the open, one, and also discussing the future, planning the future. Let's brainstorm the future, assessing the current situation and being honest with ourselves about it. Yeah, well, we have to be honest with ourselves about it. And I think people on this path and here are honest about it. I mean, the majority of us are on this path are learning that. I mean, because the spiritual path is about accountability. It's about accepting things and your reaction to things. But it's also about not repeating the same mistakes and learning from your mistakes. So hopefully we can be honest with ourselves when we continue to repeat the same things. We can hold ourselves accountable to that. Because otherwise we'll just continue to do the same thing, and we do the same thing and get the same results. So higher consciousness is important because it allows you to see it from a higher perspective. It allows you to see different solutions. It opens up a whole different set of probabilities for what we're facing here. And the people that are not looking at it from a higher perspective don't even have the options that we can talk about and discuss here. A lot of them don't even have the idea that this is even possible, like that humans can change. That's really what it boils down to. You know, do they actually believe that humans are capable of change? Or are we just going to continue to behave like monkeys? I mean, let's just be frank with it, right? Just as Ego and Sendo said, be honest. They're treating us like we're monkeys, and in some cases we're behaving like that. You know, we're behaving very animalistic. You know, and it doesn't take much for humans to get uncivilized. So we have this veneer of civilization kind of tapped onto this primal instinct that's really still there, and the aggression comes out. But that's going to be our choice, and we won't be able to make that choice unless there's information. And there are people that are already on certain levels, right? Hey, what's going on, Lily? Benny, what's happening? So there are people on certain levels now. So I use the analogy of, all right, you're in the water. Let's use a beach for an analogy. You got people that are on the beach. You got people that are in the water. You got people that are deep in the water. You got people that are scuba diving, right? You got some people that just have their feet in the water, like where you are, and they're where they are from their level of comfort. The people that are not deep because they don't want to go deep. It's not because they're going to get hurt. It's their level of comfort. So people are where they are going to be at this point. So it's not about convincing anyone of anything. I think they will pick things up on themselves. And yeah, you can still teach and you can still share your information. But I think now it's about being more of an example, more of let's focus our time and attention on not proving to others that we are who we are, or we're not crazy, or that they should look at XYZ. Let's focus that attention on putting those actions into something that actually make a positive impact. And eventually those same people around that didn't pay us attention before, maybe we'll see when I'm not alone. I have other people with me and we're focused on doing the same thing. So I think if we can start to do that, we can really make an impact. Have you heard? Yes, yes, DAO. Zalani had a question, have I heard of decentralized autonomous organization? And just recently, so I don't know all of the ins and outs about them, but I like the idea of how it kind of runs on a program. So I like the concept of that structure being in place and it just kind of making decisions automatically. So if that's something that you're involved with, I definitely want to speak a little deeper on that level, because I definitely like that idea, and I've kind of been playing with some rough stuff on that side as well. So we can talk more in depth on that. So that would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that comes out. Everyone here has talents that can be contributed to creating this new reality that's here. And when you really think about it, focus on the future and stuff. Absolutely, absolutely. And part of it, ego is the vision from my standpoint and what I want to contribute into showing, because, and I'm trying to frame it. I've talked about that before, trying to frame this. And it'll look one way, it'll look a different way on different levels. But how do you frame it for the masses? I'm trying to get as many people as possible. I want this to be mainstream. I want this to be the topic of discussion. This should be the topic of discussion. What better news are you going to hear than this? What's more fundamental than spirituality? What has more solutions to the problems of humanity than this? Not saying that this has all the solutions, but let's talk about them. Let's discuss them. Let's compare. Let's debate. And I like to see that happen. I mean, we can talk about all this other crap. Why can't we talk about this? You know, the quote unquote hard problem, if you will. And science is catching up. Science is definitely catching up, because it's all about the search for truth, and that's where this middle piece comes in. Because true scientists should look for truth no matter where it takes them, period. And someone on a true spiritual path is the same way. They're looking for truth no matter where it takes them. Now, science is limited in the sense because science just goes by what you can measure, right? If it has to weigh something, or you put a ruler to it. You can't put a ruler to consciousness. That's why it's called the hard problem. But it exists because the scientist is conscious. But this scientist does not know who he or it or she is, right? So they're just running on a very complex program that is called a sleep state of humanity, right? And it's crazy to think that that's true. People can sleepwalk, people can sleep live as well. And you can be sleep living and be a brilliant scientist from a mental standpoint. It's still not if connected to your higher self and your spirituality and things of that nature. To you, God may not even exist, and you may not even realize that you're part of God. You are God, right? So that's the level of unawareness that we have that are creating these technologies and things that we're using and employing their intellect to create a system that continues to put us in that bubble as well. And part of the way they do that is by making ways to get our attention. We talk about focus. There's a lot of focus being put to things that are not going to bring you more awareness and enlightenment and knowledge and liberty and awareness and things of that nature. Because that takes you off of social media, that puts you in nature, that puts you with your family, that puts you with the things that actually matter. You don't care about what other people think. You are more concerned with your own personal experience than trying to please others. So it changes the level of consumption. You no longer, you're unplugged, right? So there's no financial benefit for anyone in a corporation to do these kind of things, but it's necessary. The models that we have of unlimited growth are just going to deplete the planet, you know, and that's the path we're on. It's like we become the cancer, so concerned with growth that we'll kill ourselves and the host eventually. Will the future of science go towards understanding this? I think science will come along. Science will come along, and I see you on the side, Jelani. I'm with you. We'll definitely talk. I have some proposals and everything, but I think the future of science is going to go. I mean, you can see the shift now going to more mental wellness, mental health. People are talking about that now, so it's going to be an easy shift to go. And you have some soft levels of spirituality, you know. It's not just about meditation and yoga, but you got that around, and you got mindfulness. So, but when you really start applying that to some practical value that you can experience in your own life, start there. Practical value, because people are selfish. Practical value you can experience in your own life, right? So doing that helps the world just in itself, because you're one more happier person. And the world can use more happier people. So just by doing that one thing helps the world. So just because you think you may not be having a big influence, don't think that you aren't, because if you're not contributing to the problem, then that's you're on the side of the solution. Like I said, we are God in essence, which I agree with. Most people wouldn't. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Most people wouldn't agree we are God. A lot of that is, and we'll jump to that. We'll get back to that. You're right, Janice. 30 years ago, it was taboo. So I mean, we have grown. I mean, we're talking about this in the open. We don't have to worry about being burnt or anything like that at the stake. So we've made some progress. But the thing is, our technology is increasing. That's what I have back there, little graph. But our technology is increasing so much faster than our spirituality has been suppressed, that we're just going to have to speed up, and we can adjust. Humans are very good at adjusting. Just look at how we've adjusted to this quote unquote pandemic. Look how quickly something that people didn't care about, now they're fighting over, right? No one cared about a mask before, or a vaccine before, anti-vax, pro-vax, mandate, no mandate, booster. All of this stuff was not even in people's thoughts, you know, just a few years ago. There was no thoughts about shutting down a country. Like, how do you even do that? But yeah, that happened, you know, and look at us now, and we've adjusted to that, and we'll continue to adjust. So if we can adjust going down, then we can adjust going up, right? And a lot of the decisions that are made based on not allowing us, and I want to say not allowing us, not putting this information out the way you think it would be. I mean, we're talking about this but you won't see this on the news. This should be news, right? This is news. From a scientific discovery standpoint, you can say something to the effect of, scientists discovers that consciousness is primary to matter and not a function of the brain as once theorized by scientists. Thus, as conscious beings, we are primary to matter. We are, thus, death does not affect us from a consciousness standpoint, right? So, and I know that's a rough paintbrush of a. Oh, Sanbonan, you know what? That's what you can use. Yeah. So, we have progressed. We have progressed, and I was just going to say this, and then we'll move to another topic. But no one owns the truth. So this is what I like about what we got lined up in front of us, because we're all in the same boat. Hey, we're all going on in the same boat. Yeah, so we're all riding the same ride, and my position is the same ride. My light, your light, and yeah, we just lost the Zoom, but we're all riding the same ride. Season life, what's up? So, and yeah, you have a seat. Your seat is there. You are who you are. Like you had a seat from the beginning. All right. And my light doesn't dim your light. Me shining my light doesn't dim your light. You shining your light doesn't dim anyone else's light. Right. So no one's better than anyone else. We're on the same ride. So with that being said, this ride is going to take some turns that no one knows because there's no script. We're all in the same boat, right? This is a new thing for all of us, and I'm just a guy that just records stuff. So I'm just recording this, and I recorded the things that I wanted to see as I was on my journey. I recorded those things to help others on theirs, because I had to weed through a lot of crap to get to something real. And I followed my own protocol, and it got me to some self-realization and some actual valuable, practical, real things. So I'm talking from that experience, not of I read this book or I went to this retreat, or these are and not saying that those things don't work, but my journey was one of starting from scratch, really, pretty much, like and doing it with nothing but myself, right? So kind of going backwards gives me a different perspective. So a lot of the things that I talk about are going backwards. That's why you don't hear us talk about religion, or you don't hear us talk about things that, we do talk about religion and things of that nature, but we focus more on consciousness and spirituality. Those are the things that you are. These things that we divide ourselves with on a superficial level, you can split those a million different ways, left and right. We can go black, white, gay, straight, right, left, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, mandate, no mandate, booster, no. You can. That's the world we live in. We're chopping. So instead of working on that level, we work at the base level. We work at who is the being that's doing all of this chopping and doing this deciding and things of that nature. So that's what we're starting with. So I want to show you guys this real quick, and then we'll get into a little future talk, because really and you can see this. This was from a little TikTok that I did. We can talk about this real quick, because I think this kind of tells a lot right here. This little illustration, because really when you see people interacting with each other, most of the time they're going to cause and effect. Absolutely, yeah, cause and effect. You look at karma. It's action. Cause and effect. And we have to, there's momentum with that as well. If you've got the momentum of you driving down a road, for instance, you're going to have to apply more brake than you would if you're going faster than you would if you're going slower, right? So I mean, that does affect things. So I mean, we have some work to do to get out of this hole, but it can be done. This is something I want to kind of get you guys thoughts on. So I was explaining this to my family, and I was giving them the example of two fish inside of two fish bowls. And they have all of these labels on these fish bowls. We talked about the divisions. That's why I'm bringing this up. But these are all of the labels. And these are just some. You can look at different ones that this fish may identify with, right? I mean, the actual fish is that, right? If you want to put a label on that, you can say fish. But there's people that identify with so many things that are not them. And instead of actually experiencing what they are, they're experiencing all these labels. And when they interact with someone else, they're really just interacting with labels. I mean, you might as well just do this number here. I mean, this is the kind of world that we're living in. I mean, this is the matrix, if you will. I mean, unconscious, just programs interacting with each other, right? Yeah, that's really what it would look like, instead of the real individuals. And this whole story was just an idea of kind of play on creation, where you got consciousness being primary, being all that it is, right? You can't experience something other than yourself if you're all that there is. So you create something that allows you to experience something other than yourself. So you create this physical world that's other than you. Then you create this avatar to move around this physical world. And then, because you're the creator of all of this stuff and you know the lefts and rights and the ins and outs of all these things, it's like being a game designer and creating the design of knowing the ins and outs. Not going to be as fun in that game, everything about that game, right? You wouldn't be able to be surprised, or to be to be able to be scared, or to experience something that you didn't know about, because you know everything. So then if you can play a game as if you didn't create it, then you'll experience it all as if you're new. So you say, all right, well, cool. And then that's what you do. So now you're playing that game, this game, life, as this character, without knowing that you're the one that's at the base of it all, right? But the consciousness experiencing the character is the same consciousness that is at the base of it all. So that is a different way of looking at it, versus you got this consciousness that just happens because your brain has a lot of activity or something of that nature. All right. So we need to try to ask if this is a person or program. So of course, we try to ask if this is a person or a program. Gotcha. You're talking about when you're dealing with the person, right? If you're actually dealing with the actual fish, or if you're dealing with the program. In those programs, I tell you, you look at the psychology of it, they run deep, and we talked about that. When we're quote unquote programmed, and a lot of it's subconscious, a lot of this is subconscious. So it's tough to blame your parents, though you will want to in some cases, because in some cases they should have known better, you would think. But anyway, a lot of the things that we pick up when we're younger are habits and things that we see, not exactly language and things of that nature. So a lot of this is subconscious that we're picking up on. And a lot of it's when we're subconsciously, from the people we're picking it up on, we're picking it up subconsciously. We're getting programmed at an age when we're young, and they say that we're at a brain state where we're easily, absorbing information. That's how a young child can absorb so much. So if you're at that stage and you're getting told something that is some poppycrock, you're gonna file that right along with Santa's real and and Rudy is the main guy with the red nose is being factual. And when you get older, they may Santa's not real, but they don't tell you the other things. So yeah, you can be just dealing with people, and there are people that are on this level, and I'm one of those people. I've had people. I remember conversations that I've had. That's why it's a common thing I think as well. I consider myself to be open. I look back on conversations I had with people back early in my spiritual journey, and I was talking about the church and things of that nature, and I didn't hear what they were saying. But looking back on it, they were, trying to get me to see, but it wasn't anything that I was looking for at that point. So it's a timing thing as well. So we're going to deal with the people that are trying to see now, and we're going to. Yeah, I'm sorry, Janice. Well, it depends on your definition of Santa. I did see on TV, they did show Santa. This was, well, I say last year, like it was a long time ago, a little while ago. Hey, what's going on, River Forest? But yeah, they were showing Santa going over somewhere on the news. So yeah, so the news is helping you out on that, Janice. You're not alone if you think Santa, if you're wondering if that's true. What you got? Here goes. So right, labels fight against the actual idea the labels portray. Words, yeah, that's the thing, man. I'm like language, and you hit it on the head. You go, like language, oh, there you go, Maria. You and Janice. But you're right. Language is like I find myself the idea that I have in my head. As soon as I try to articulate it, it becomes diminished. Like it's not it doesn't have the same uh, it doesn't have the same elegance as the unspoken idea. So maybe when we're able to do telepathy, their communication would be a little more elegant. But ideas are just the labels are just concepts. That doesn't mean that we know the ins and outs of that thing. Like we can label the ocean, that's a big concept, but that doesn't mean we know the ins and out of that label. We know the label, we know how to spell it and all that stuff, but just because we label something doesn't mean we know it. We tend to think that just because we can label something and identify it, ID it, label it, that we know something, and that makes us smart because we can put labels on all of this stuff that we have no idea about. We don't even know who's the person putting the labels on it. That's how crazy this reality is. And these are the people who are running it. It's crazy. I mean, I'm trying to look at this from a comedic standpoint as well, and include a little more laughter, a little more, not that I take the source matter lighthearted, but just the irony of it all. It is pretty funny. Voice back. Okay. So I see your voice is going. Okay, definitely get your voice back. Let's definitely talk. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I appreciate you joining in. I definitely want to talk about that DAO. I've dabbled around in the NFT game just to play with it, but I do have some ideas on playing around with that space. And maybe we talk about the metaverse. I'd be interested on your ideas, but ideas put applications. Yeah. But now here's the thing about that, Logan. I'm with, and the same thing applies in a different way with the ideas, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, is where I have an idea, but my idea is going to be enhanced when it is either combined or bounced off or collaborated with your idea or Maria's idea or Janice's idea or Zelani's idea. As we combine the mastermind, different pieces of the puzzle, different perspectives, that thing becomes greater than just this one mind's idea. So that's what I want to create, because that would be a powerful thing. I mean, these are the things that these are the tools that are used for suppression. And use them as well for enlightenment, whatever name you want to call it. But there's a lot that we can do, and I just want to get started. So as far as the whole explanation thing, hey, there are people that are at different levels that will explain what needs to be explained. Right now, those people that want to take action, those are the ones that are really want collaboration. Or people need people. It's beneficial. So on many different levels. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we'll show that example, even if it's on a small level. It's really up to us. There's a mix between being patient and also having a sense of urgency. So I dabble between people can be high achieving, but two people will always be able to accomplish more. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, one person, there's benefits to being solo, but in this phase of it, it's like one person, it's not going to work. It needs to be a collective. It needs to be an organized collective. And that's what we're doing. We're in the process of doing it. It's a messy process because there's no script. It's a messy process. But as long as we don't make the same mistakes twice, and as long as we understand we're going to make mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes, then we will get to where we need to get, and it will happen. Let's see, and Zalani had I tell them the metaverse is our forte as consciousness. We just love to experience, we explore. Now, okay, good point. So we'll jump to the metaverse real quick, because Zalani had I'll read his comment. I tell them the metaverse is our forte as consciousness. We just love to experience. We're explorers. We can use it to our benefit. So I agree. I mean, to me, the metaverse is a tool. Now, the only concern, and I wouldn't even say it's I guess you can call it a concern. The only concern I would have is that you look at how much attention the internet in its current form gets now. So, and you look at how difficult it is to compete with that attention for something as fundamental as what we're talking about. Now you're going to create a substrata that's more inclusive to get more attention. That's going to be like almost another layer. Like that would the metaverse could be like but the actual matrix is starting off with this technology is going to be more like Ready Player One than the actual matrix. But you let a few years pass and Elon Musk get everyone with the Neuralink, and who knows. But it can be a tool for creation as well, but it's only as good as the consciousness wielding it. The tool is only as good as the consciousness wielding it. So we have an example of the tools that we have and the level of consciousness wielding it and what it's doing. So let's show a vision, let's show an example, let's show a future of using those same tools and even creating some new ones, but wielding it with a higher consciousness. What can we do if we weren't into division and into this one being better than this one, or having to prove something to who, for what? We can do so much more. Everything that we have is here. We've been given everything that we have. It's just the way that we've allowed it to be divided. That's the problem. And that's on us. We've allowed it to happen, and it's going to be up to us to fix it. Like, no one's going to come do it for us. Like, that would be a bad parent, right? Think about that. To those people that have kids, your kid messes up your room, messes up their room, and you go and clean it up. And they mess it up and you go clean it up. They mess it up. Like, the kid doesn't understand or won't learn that he needs to keep his room clean, needs to keep it tidy. When you put something down, mommy's not going to come, daddy's not going to come pick it up. You have to pick it up. You reap what you sow. Karma. Every action, there's a reaction. No one's going to come save you. So just be careful and just keep that in mind as you go. Most parents want their kids to clean up their room. They want them to learn that lesson. Humanity, if anything comes or anyone comes and saves the day, it's not going to allow us to learn any lesson. We're just going to be just as unaware as we were before that happened. And now we have a new savior figure that we'll be looking at and not be able to make decisions for ourselves. So that's not the long-term goal. So the long-term goal is to be self-sufficient. I mean, that's what a God would want to be, self-sufficient, right? I mean, you can just look at it from that way. So, please, audio's low. All right, I'll, and if you can, all right. So medicine or poison all depends on the dose. Tech without consciousness. Hey, well said. Well said. Well said, ego is ascendo. Yeah, tech without consciousness. Yeah, and that's the path we were on. And I think, and this is just, thinking out of the box here, but I hear that our military tech is supposedly 40 years ahead of what's commercially available. That's what they say. So who knows what tech is really out there? I think they suppress tech. It wouldn't be surprised if there's runaway civilizations. I have no concrete proof of that, but it wouldn't surprise me. There are things that are going on that we don't know about. So I don't get into that very much, but who knows what's really out there. But I do think the level of technology is higher than we've been told, definitely. And the military admits that. So I think that our level right now is actually higher than what we've been portrayed. So I think once we can get our spirituality on that level, in other words, I'm saying that the technology I think is there to really go past where we are, to where I think we would need to have an advanced spirituality, because you will want to give someone that's close to destroying the planet something more powerful than what we have now. But that can also be used to create other things as well. So it's a double-edged sword, definitely. But I do think that we have better and sharper swords that are kind of hidden in the back, if you will. All right, so it all makes sense. Divine timing will tell when we get to that. Yeah, I think so. But the thing is, the people that are making those decisions on, I don't know if they're making those decisions with our best interests at heart. Like who put them in charge? Like that's something that like who allows you to make that decision? So I don't like when people have access to this technology and resources that can help, that withhold it because they think they know better or know what's good for the other person. I know we got a kind of government that's kind of like that, but it's supposed to be for the people, by the people. I don't want to we can get into politics too. We can, but it's not. I mean, it's not, but it's good marketing. They're good at marketing to a degree. And a lot of people believe in the marketing, but a lot of people that believe in the marketing will not see themselves represented in Washington. Most of the people. I do find it difficult to believe that the people in Washington represent the actual Americans. And most Americans will probably agree. You can look at their approval ratings. I mean, that's a metric right there if you want to look at some data. But it's low. But you think about it, like out of not 300 million, but let's just say 150 million, right? Out of 150 million people, those are the two best that represent, our vision, what we want to do, and all this stuff. Like, come on. Those are our choices. So we tend to choose the lesser of the two evils, which is really the two-headed snake. So that's why I want to, and maybe we'll talk about politics as well. But yeah, politics to me is like wrestling. And I don't know if I had some people believe Santa was real. I hope some of y'all don't think that guy jumping off the top rope in them tights is really doing it. Because if so, you might want to just, hey, what's good fella? Hey, if that's the case, you might want to just chill out because, yeah, I know people that think wrestling is real, so no judgment there. But yeah, some people think wrestling real, some people think politics is real. Have I heard? So Zalani asked, have I heard of the Flower of Life? Yes, I have heard of the Flower of Life. Terrence Howard opened it up and found the real wave conjugations that makes everything we have kind of obsolete. I did see that video that Terrence did where I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, Zalani. He did a couple videos. I'm not sure if it's the same video. Yeah, no problem, good fellas. We appreciate you coming in, man. Yeah, he seemed to be pretty deep, and that's my first time hearing him. But I'll leave it at that. So, yeah, you may have to go a little deeper on that, Zalani. Let's see. True, which is the problem with the government? Just give the people the info and let us make decisions. Yeah, and that's a big problem, Ego, is that they don't think that we can make the decision. Like that's like we're monkeys. Like we can't make those decisions. So they have to make them for us. And since they're making very important decisions for us, they might as well get a little extra money for it and get some perks and and ham it up and do whatever they do because they're making hard decisions for me and you that we can't make for ourselves. Some of them actually believe that, right? They don't think we can make our own decisions. That's a rabbit hole, but yeah, and who is that person? Like, I like to speak to that person. Like, let's talk about your process of decision making because you made a decision that I can't make a decision for myself. So I like to understand how you came to that decision. What are the factors? Because you didn't discuss this with me. So what are the factors that you use to weigh whether you should or shouldn't, or was the alternative not even an option? So some of these things are not done because they're thinking of our best interest. It is what it is. And, yeah. Hey, what's going on? Knives X Lilies. Knives X Lilies. So knives and lilies. All righty. So, what are we talking about here? Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about what the new system could look like. And this is how simple I want to make it. I'll make this very simple. I'll do this so I can just make it quick. I don't want you guys getting jealous of my PowerPoint skills. That was a joke. Yeah, so do what you love, get what you love. Let's just think about that. So what I would like to do in 2022 is ride around the country and talk about higher consciousness, the value of it, the benefits of it, and how it allows us, and it's not just higher consciousness that allows us to do anything. I mean, this is who we are and what we have access to, but accessing it, being able to see a whole different dimension, a whole different set of probabilities allows us to see a new probability for humanity. So let's talk about this new probability for humanity. What does the new humanity look like? What does the new consciousness 2.0 look like? You know, you think about software, you don't see anyone riding around here with the first iPhone, do you? They're updating left and right. As soon as the next one comes out, they want to get the next one. But you want to have your belief system be a couple thousand years old. You don't want to hear anything that's new, right? That's not how it works. Like, it's an evolution, you know? If new information comes out that is alternative to things that I'm saying, I'll change what I'm saying. You know, I don't own the truth. So it's not like I identify with it. Some people identify with their belief system. So if I talk about your belief system, they identify with that. So who's to say? Because I mean, in this reality, when we wake up, we get free sunshine, right? Free sunshine. And from that free sunshine, everything else we need comes from that free sunshine, pretty much. If we didn't have the sun, it'd be a different planet. We probably wouldn't be here. But in other words, everything is given to us free. How we divide it up is a human construct. So we can construct a different way of dividing it up to help people versus to help more people versus just a select few. Right now, it's a pyramid where there's no trickle down. We've all seen it. The rich get richer. We've seen it even during the pandemic. Rich people got richer, right? And there is no trickle down like that. But we're the system. We're the ones that make it up. They're getting our money. Like, the funny thing about rich people is they make a lot of money, but they don't make a lot of money. They get money from the people that don't make a lot of money, that give them their hard-earned money, right? Like Jeff Bezos said, well, you know, thanks to all the people that bought, you know, iPhone chargers that got me to the moon. Not to the moon, but to the sky, you know, wherever he went. But we're paying for that. So we can pay for something that benefits us. We can flip the pyramid to where it automatically trickles down, right? It's built into it. And that's where I want to kind of get with Zolani on the DAO side of things, to have that built into it, to where, and I want to play with this with spirituality and action, with NFTs and things as well, to where as artists create things to help benefit a community or a certain cause, as that artwork is sold and things of that nature, it benefits the community and the artists. And it's like, you know, trying to look at it like an 80-20 split or a 20-80 split, depending on if you want to do it for charity or if you want to do it for profit, because artists need to eat as well. But kind of playing with that system, but to have that to be done automatically and in the blockchain, and then to have it accrue potentially. And I think that'd be pretty cool. So we'll play around with that. Let's see the people. Let's see. We would have to change. Yeah, we have to change the value system. Absolutely. That is that. Yeah. We can talk about that till the cows come home, because that is a big one. You go extendo. Yeah, we value crap. We value crap. And our system is made to make us try to like value and crap, because the system makes a lot of crap, and generates a lot of crap. That's why we got a lot of waste. And it makes a lot of crap that doesn't last long, because they got to sell you more crap. They just can't sell you one thing and you get that and that's it. You know, there's a system to it that's called profit, and it has to keep going. They have to make more. Whereas nature is more balanced. There's not a more. That's cancerous. We got to get in balance, and we can do that. We can definitely do that. But what we value is the marketing that is given to us by the same corporations that are that are doing all of these things to the planet and to us. We're not playing victims to corporations, but when you look at the ability to affect things, right? Look at how much ability a corporation has to affect things on a large scale. Look how much money Look how much resources, look how much influence. I mean, they're multinational. The governments work for the corporations. The corporations can cross the borders that the governments can't, right? And they have money that they pay the politicians to write these laws that are favorable for them. So that they, I mean, it's a racket, and they call it lobbying, right? And that's what goes on. It's the system that we got. But and again, it's a corporation is only as powerful. We can make a corporation. I have a corporation, and yeah, I want it to be one of the good guys. But I'm just giving you an example that that entity has a lot of influence. It's not me or you going out there and digging these mines and polluting these landfills and all of this. I mean, it's heavy machinery, it's big things. It's a lot of money behind this there. So, and they're not doing this for the environment. They're not doing this for higher consciousness. They're not doing this for anything other than profit, anything other than a made up piece of paper. So that's the value system. So I'm going to take something that's real, that's inexhaustible, that I can't regenerate, and I'm going to trade it for something that's fake. I can print anytime I want to, as much of it as I want to. I can change the denomination from 1 to 10 to 1,000 to 10,000 by just adding a zero, and someone else will multiply what they give me on this piece of paper based on the ink. So this is what we value. This is what humans value, right? And it's a lot of programming involved in that, because they attach that value to things that are actually valuable. And that's where the genius comes in, because they make it seem like this thing, this product, whatever it is, it's going to get you the connections that are really valuable in life. You see these people smiling and they're happy, and it's like, oh, well, I can get that fine girl if I get this, or I can have a relationship like Derek if I do this or whatever, right? And it's just like everyone's just so happy, like, man, I need to get me some of that. You know, let me get some of what they're drinking. Let me drink the Kool-Aid. That's what happens. And but the Kool-Aid doesn't last long. You know, you gotta drink more Kool-Aid because it's not a lasting thing. So we need to value things that last more, things that are real. Let's value real things. How about that? Let's value real things. Let's make a slide on that. Damn it. Value real things. I might have to. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Value real things. And in this world of digital things, it can have another meaning. But yeah, but let's just say real relationships, real connections, real conversations, not just this small talk, water cooler stuff, you know? I mean, let's get into some, we're in the middle of this cosmos, supposedly floating on this planet, this rock, this living rock in the middle of nowhere around this balling fire thing, right? In the middle of this black hole spinning around, like, and you want to talk about who's throwing a football? That's just me. I think there's a lot more important things, amazing things that are going on now. And yeah, it's amazing that Antonio Brown took his shirt off. I saw it all over the news. But there's other things that are happening as well. So value real things. And a lot of people in their life, sports are real to them. They identify with their sports. It's my team. You know, when they win, I win. And I've seen that. I understand that. Can we get to the birth certificate thing? Oh, so this is a question. Can we get to the birth certificate thing? Because that's what's removed from us seeing ourselves as natural living beings to living as. Yeah. So, and if I'm not mistaken, when you're, Zalani, if you're talking about the birth certificate thing, you're talking about the whole maritime law and that kind of deal. And that's a rabbit hole too. But I went down that one as well, to where, yeah, it's the system, and it just plays into the system, just like legalese, for example. Lawyers write stuff for other lawyers. they don't write stuff for you and me to understand. They write stuff for other lawyers. Law is written for other lawyers. That's why it's difficult for us to understand it if you haven't studied law. So these things are not written for us in the first place, right? So this whole system, you talk about birth certificates and social security numbers and straw man taxes, like all of these things that that we agree to. And I'm not saying they're good or bad, but there are some nefarious things that are built into the system that, yeah, that we can change. If it's for us and by us, then we can change it. Now, if it's not for us and by us, if this is a system of control and manipulation, and we're just supposed to do what we're told and just accept whatever we're given, and that's a different thing, then maybe they should say that. Well, they can't say that because America has too many guns and it'll be a problem. That's why they have to say one thing and not another. I think that's why America wanted to, I think it's because of the guns. America has a lot of guns. There's a lot of guns in Tennessee. I do wonder that why things haven't progressed faster here. But I think it is because, and they've, there's been gun control thing. And that's not all of it, but I do think Americans being armed has to do with some things. But anyway, value real things and value true things. We could put that there too. Value true things. Because really, reality is truth. It's the same thing. I mean, you don't have to add anything to it. I mean, and if we can really do that, it's easier said than done, especially coming from a society that likes instant gratification, that likes to have their things quickly, that needs constant stimulation. You got these it's a lot of stimulation. So to just value just being alive, I mean, that's one thing. You don't need to consume. You can just be alive. That means you have to be okay with just being yourself and not having all of this external stimulus. And that's definitely possible. And we'll get there, and people are there, and it should be something I think we should all value, but it's a process, because it's like we're addicted to technology to a degree. We're addicted to a lot of things. We're addicted to other people telling us what to do. We're addicted to control. We're addicted to authority figures. We're addicted to I don't know. It just seems like when I look at people and talk to people and just normal everyday things, the things that are going on, there's no concern about it almost. It's like they're expecting bad things to happen, whether it's from a religious standpoint or end of the world prophecy or whatever. So it's not, and if something bad was happening, they don't have to do anything because a lot of them believe someone else is going to do something for them. So it's just this acceptance of mediocrity and just getting by, just survival consciousness is the best way to put it. Just scraping by, and that's okay. We're not made to scrape by. Like, all of this wasn't created for us just to come here and scrape by, work a 9-to-5, retire and die. Like, you think that's what you were created for? To work a 9-to-5, retire and die? Yeah, definitely not. Let's see what you got, Zelani. Doesn't help us talking about it, but I think, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this. So, okay, and maybe we get a little feedback on it. Let's get a little feedback on it, Zelani. And I know we'll get some comments on it. But part of why I do this, because in my everyday life, like, I don't talk about this stuff, like very low level conversations. Like, I talk about different levels of consciousness. And most of my conversations are blue pill conversations. And I'm not the kind of person that can just willfully just sit back and just watch the world go down the drain, especially when we can do something about it. And especially when no one else is going to do something about it. So this is my attempt. What's going on, Timmy? To do something about it. So so there was so let's talk about this presidential thing, because we're talking about politics. And Zelaya is talking about this guardian of the planet run. And I know I'm going to mess up explaining it. You explain it better than me, because I was talking to him about the presidential run. So why do you want to run for president? Are you silly? Are you crazy? Well, depending on who you talk to, right? To a lot of people, probably, right? But the presidential whole sphere is something that people pay attention to. It is something that already has mechanisms built in for touring, for town halls, for Q&A, for things of that nature. So, and the two things you can't talk about at work, religion and politics. What are the two things that happen to be ruling everything on this planet? Religion and politics. So is that a coincidence? But the idea was to simulate, and we're doing this on a level. Let's simulate, and we'll get back on the future in a little bit. Let's simulate what the future looks like. And let's also simulate what our government looks like. Let's get the feedback from the people. Let's talk to the people, not just when you have to get their votes. Let's actually use some of the tools that are used for business in politics. I mean, let's attempt to not burden our next generation with debt if we don't have to. I mean, I don't know if you guys looked at the debt clock recently, but let's just look at the debt clock. Because these are all things that, I mean, we owe somebody, right? So who do we owe? Who does every person in America owe $89,000 to? Or every taxpayer owe $239,000 to, right? Who do you owe that money to? And you see that here, they're constantly running deficits. Like, if America is a business, and that's kind of what Zelani is kind of getting to with the system, but it's a badly run business. And how many businesses could run a deficit, which means you lose more money than you make, like yearly, you lose more money than you make. And then when you run out of credit, when you run out of money, you vote yourself to increase your credit limit. You don't fix any of the reasons. You don't fix the problems that cause you to lose more money than you borrowed. No, you just increase the credit limit. And we continue to do that. It's called the debt ceiling, right? So we continue to do that. And I mean, this is us just kicking the can down the road, just kicking the can down the road, kicking the can down the road, not solving the hard problems, right? So, yeah, and we can do so much better. You look at the infinite amount of ways a civilization on this planet can run itself. Like just think about, and we'll get into the future in a little bit. Just look around you and just notice how rare the earth is, first of all. It's not like you can just jump to another one, right? It's not like you can just move to another one. I know Elon's trying to get there, but it's not an easy thing, right? It's not, you're not just gonna go pick up another earth on Amazon, right? They're rare, and we got one, right? We won a lottery, right? Because we obviously can't find one from the mainstream science standpoint out there. And we got one full of water. You know, everyone here is on an island. Everyone here is an island boy or girl or whatever you identify with. So yeah, Earth is a water planet, so we're all on islands, right? So the rarity of that, right? And we have that, and we could do anything with it, and we choose to do this specific thing with it, right? Out of all of the things that we can do. Hey, what's going on, Lex? So out of all of the things we can do, we choose to do this specific thing when we're given all of this for free. So I think people do realize there's other ways to do it, but what they're normally shown are the other ways that didn't work or bad examples. This isn't a, this is about creating something new and a different way that's in balance to get us more in line with nature. Because right now, humanity is acting like it's something separate than nature. Like you got nature, and then you got humans, and we're over here. So we're just gonna make money because we're all about making money. We're gonna make it rain. We're not nature. This nature over here. So we're just gonna keep depleting nature, and then we're gonna go to another planet because it's all about this fake crap, right? So that's why we have to value true things. So, hey, Lex, the earth is symbolic for how humanity views their own human body. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. They say people treat each other, how they treat themselves, and that's a good point. How can I love you when I don't love myself? How can I respect you when I don't respect myself? How can, these type of things. So how can I care for the planet when I don't care for myself? So I can see that. So, I mean, that's why it comes down to the individual as well. So working on our individual selves is going to help the collective and helps the planet. So win, win, win. So win all the way around. Anyway, just to top this whole presidential thing, because it kind of got off in a tangent with that. So he was talking about something else, just to where we're getting a organization and a voice to it. And I'll let him explain it a little more in depth, because I was just looking at the political sphere as just a means to get a message out in a already established route. It's already established, and they're going to report on it. Now, a candidate such as myself, they may not try to report on someone such as myself, but it'd be difficult, especially if I'm interacting on the ground floor and I'm bringing value and I'm talking about real, true things and talking to real, true people. Hey, what's going on, Ryan? So what does that look like? And I'm not a politician. I'm an engineer. So I've solved problems for a living. So I don't have all the answers. It's just a matter of compiling the people that can find the answers and solve the problems to the best of our ability. That's all we can do. And there's a lot of problems to solve. And it doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. But anyway, just using that as a platform. And I know it's looked at as pie in the sky type of things, but we'll see. And Zelani was talking about something similar to that, but he was calling it guardian of the planet kind of deal. And my whole thing with him is something that's already established. Because at the end of the day, the only thing I'm about is increasing the amplification of the signal. I want this to be on mainstream news. I want this to be something that they have to be confronted with. They have to explain themselves, because it's your job to, you're supposed to inform us, correct? Okay, so if you did not know this, okay, then what are you doing with all this money that you're sending? What are your journalists doing? This is fundamental to humanity. Why are we just now understanding this? And why does it take someone from the outside coming to you with this? Why isn't this something that our quote unquote leaders are informing us about? Why isn't someone on TV saying, hey, we just found out that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all consciousness, and it survives death because it's not allowed to begin with. It's the observer of life, and that's what you are. And all of this stuff that we're doing is superficial and blah, blah, blah. They're not going to say all that, but they could. They're not going to do it. That's why someone like me, they won't let me get up there, because I would do that, because people, we talked about this earlier, who makes the decisions of what you can handle and can't handle and deserve and not deserve to know? And have they talked to you? Have they talked to you, and have they reached out to you, Lex, and said, hey, you can't handle this? And you probably not. So, these are the things that I think a lot of people will agree with. And and I like to just see what happens just from a curiosity standpoint, because I'm playing the naive side of things and assuming that they're not aware of these things. That's why we haven't been informed, right? Um, but because it will look very bad on them if they withheld this kind of information from us for other reasons, right? And eventually people will realize that these things were more than likely withheld for other reasons. That's why, it's a bottom up thing and not a top down thing, because they never wanted us to wake up. They never wanted us to realize that the 99% actually have the power and the numbers and the ability to control everything. They are the majority. As soon as they realize that, game's over. So there's no benefit in them doing that, right? Just from a materialistic, controlling, profit and capitalistic standpoint, a sleep society is easier controlled than an awake society. I can easily control a flock of lions than I can control a flock of sheep. I mean, a flock of sheep than I can control a flock of lions. So I'm definitely not going to turn these sheep into lions, because the lion can get me, I can get the sheep. So that's the world we're living in now, but we're all lions. God only makes lions and lionesses, gods and goddesses, and that's what's on this line now. And it's up to us on this planet from the inside out to make the changes that are needed for our future generations. If not, it's going to keep happening. And I'm to the point now to where I can pretty much say, I know I won't stop. I may slow down, but I can say I've done a lot. I can definitely do more, but there's going to come a point to where there's only so much that I can do. And that's part of what this year is to really see, am I pushing the agenda? Am I pushing the future too much? Am I too far ahead of my time here? Is humanity not ready to ride this ride yet? Or, and should I just sit back and chill and just watch the fireworks? I'm not sure. The jury's still out on that. I think humanity can ride the ride. I think they can. I think they can. I think just look at the ride we rode so far. Look at where we are now and managed to hold our crap together, right? We've accepted this reality that's so crazy now that didn't exist a few years ago. So why not accept one that doesn't exist now a few years from now? That's one of an enlightened society that's full of spiritual beings having a human experience on this same planet that a few years ago was fighting each other over vaccination statuses and religious leanings and whatever ways to divide us, color of our skin. We can tell that story. That's the story that we can tell. We're the co-creators of this story. Once we realize that, then we say, all right, very simple. What story do we want to tell? We got a blank slate. What story do we want to tell? We can tell the story that they want us to tell. That's the script we're on now. New script. We're going to create a different reality for us, by us. How do we want that to work? Let's create that. That's this process. And the same way that this reality was created wasn't overnight. Can't expect it to happen the other way overnight, but it's possible. And the whole thing is, and I know I'm ranting. I normally don't talk this much, but I just don't want to look at the screen for a couple hours. What's going on, Zombie and Granddad? But I was gonna say I normally don't rant this much, but just trying to keep the live going. But it's, if we don't do anything, what happens? Just follow the trajectory. I mean, what happens? That's a given. That's a given. Is that worst case scenario? Maybe not. Did we prevent ourselves from totally destroying ourselves and maybe just imprison ourselves in a totalitarian reality controlled by artificial intelligence? But we didn't destroy the planet, but we just barely surviving on that level. Maybe, that's a possibility. That's it. Yes, we are the solid majority, Janice. And I am wondering if it's time for us to break our silence. I think it's, that's the thing. Is it time for us to break our silence? Um, and I do think it's time for us to break our silence. We should at least see what that looks like, at least test the waters, at least to pull back the data to say, okay, we learned that it's not time. Just like the person that tested me early in my journey and tried to give me some information that I wasn't ready for. It wasn't time for me. But he at least tested the waters. So we can test the waters. I think we should continually test the waters, continually test that glass ceiling to keep pushing ourselves and keep raising ourselves and make sure that we're not limiting ourselves as well. Let's see what Zolani had over here. Yeah, but the mainstream is going down. We have to create and do everything. That's why we love the base. Yeah. So Zolani is saying the mainstream is going down. We have to create a new everything. That's why I'm reluctant to base anything on their structures, because it's just a matter of time before they collapse. I got you. In fact, I say the universe is just wait for someone to create a new mainstream news and stuff. I'm with you. I think eventually these systems will get replaced. They will get replaced. But my thing is, what do we use? Because again, I'm looking from a speed standpoint, from an impact standpoint, and from a time standpoint. So I understand that TikTok is maybe capturing data in ways that I may not agree with, along with this phone. I mean, there's things that we give up to be able to access these people. If I didn't choose to play that game, I wouldn't be able to get on here and have this conversation with you guys. So we have to play within the system. We definitely have to play within the system. Oh yeah, we're going to create new everything, and it's going to be valuable, and it's going to be real, and it's going to be true. And that's what's going to make it authentic. And that's what's going to make a competition for those things that are not real, valuable, authentic, and true, right? We don't have very many options to choose from now. When you're given turd number one and turd number two, well, I guess I'm going to have a turd, right? But when you're given something that actually has value, now you have a true choice. Now you can have something that actually can benefit you. And our news, our media, stuff like that isn't doing that now. But we can use it to our advantage. We have to. Otherwise, if we didn't use their system to our advantage, then we wouldn't be able to do this, and we wouldn't be able to start the connections that we're having now. So I understand creating new stuff, absolutely, and not being dependent on their systems, which we are now. We don't have a social network. We don't have, we're using all of their communication. So when we communicate via their networks, it's being tracked, whether we want to admit it or not, So it is part of that system. But while we're using that system, while we're communicating with that system, we can use it for good as well, because there's nothing else that we have at this point. So from a speed standpoint, that's why I mentioned the whole presidency thing, because again, it's something that I don't have to re-educate someone on something else. This is something that's already in place. They understand what this means. They understand what this person is going to be talking about. They're going to be talking about laws. They're going to be talking about how we run the country. They're going to be talking about finances. They're going to be talking about things of that nature. And these are things that we can have from a spiritual standpoint, because they play a part in it as well. So that same conversation can be had on that platform, and I have to do with any partisan politics. Turds be getting real. Yeah, we've been given a lot of turds. Hey, what's going on, ghetto physicists? We've been given a lot of turds, and choosing between one turd and another. And then that creates the competition. Well, we're going to shine this turd up a little more so that when the next thing comes around, then this turd, and that's the whole game that we play. But at the end of the day, it's just one agenda, and it's not benefiting us. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't like the word. I know it's used, so I just use it because it's something people understand. But a lot of these things you can just just use your common sense and use your awareness, your perception, your reality. Just look at this. If you've been on this planet for, I don't know, if you have a mind to think for yourself, there's a lot of things that you can see that just don't make sense. And you can see the system is not designed to benefit the average person or the normal person. It's not. It's not. And if it was, there would be more examples of it. I mean, yeah, there are people that trickle through. There's people that win in this particular system, right? They will definitely point at, hey, well, look at Joe Schmo. You know, he won the American dream and did such and such and such and such. And he has the house and picket fence, but that whole, they don't show, for one, that whole, to get to this point, they're not going to show you that, right? The history to get to the American dream. But that whole mechanism of what's behind that is leaving more stories that aren't the winning stories than the winning ones. Just like in the commercials for the lotteries and for the casinos, you always see the person winning. Like you look at the casino advertisements, you just see people with money. Like, oh, I go there to get money. Like, this is what I do. Hey, casino, they always winning. Like, no, there's one person that may have won that jackpot, but that jackpot is actually paid for by the thousands of people that lost that money, and they just gave it to this one guy. But they didn't give it all to him. They gave some to the casino, and they're going to continue to run that racket. Anyway, so that's where value comes in. Value comes in. We have to value real things and real people. We value fake people. Oh man, we value fake people. That's another thing we have to start valuing is real people. And it's hard to find real people out there. When I say out there, I know mainstream is mainstream. I still want to just put a truth bomb there and just let it I just want to see I just want to see their reaction. I just want to I just want to look them in the eye just to see if they even have souls, you know. I know it's kind of silly. I'm joking to a degree, but there's a part of me that's actually just wants to look at them and just, you know, be inside that environment and just really just feel it and I say, hey, that place is just made, and I'm talking about like the mainstream news, if you will, and you could pick either side, but I would say coming out of that place is just made for program propaganda to get you to tell you what to think. The news just tells you what to think. They tell you what happened and they tell you what to think about it, what you should do about it or not do about it, or who you should vote for. That's going to not do something about it or do something about it. Yeah. But the future, we didn't talk about that. We talked about it a little bit. It's a network of the 99% of people. The 99% of the people that do all of the stuff, that trickle all the money up to the rich people, that the rich people get richer and they control everything. What if those 99% of the people that have all the skills, labor, and the know-how actually created a system that benefits them? Right? What does that look like? What is that? How do we do that? So can that be done? Absolutely, it can be done. We're talking about it. It can be done. What does that look like? So these are the things that we can discuss, and we'll do that. What's going on, famous Shivani? All righty, that's all that I had. I feel like I've just been running my mouth again and again. Like I'm not a very talkative person, but just here in this room, if I don't say nothing, it just gets quiet. But any topics, anything on you guys or gals mind? Anything that so let me ask you this, as far as and I got to work on the format of this thing. It's I'm trying to do the live and the Zoom at the same time, and I think there's a way to incorporate it, but I want you guys to be able to see this as well, so I can have anyway, I got to play with that. But my question is, from a time standpoint, are you guys still good on Mondays, or should we try to keep the momentum going, just keep the conversation going. So do you guys think we should do it again in a week, the same time, 2 weeks? So just give me a little feedback one way or the other. And it's all about our freedom. Yep. It's all about our freedom, Join, and it is all about our freedom. Our freedoms are being attacked on a lot of different levels, all about our freedom. And it is all about our freedom. So appreciate you joining. And we're having a discussion about higher consciousness, and just the value in the future vision. So really, what is the vision for the future? Does your vision for me and us, is it better than their vision? Let's compare the visions. Let's compare what it looks like, what it feels like, what we can do, what we can't do. And I think when people see the two in comparison, the two potentials, because we're just talking about potentials, they'll gravitate to the one that's more valuable, more beneficial, and more true. And the spiritual reality, the higher consciousness reality, is more true than this current reality we're in. It has solutions that this current reality is not going to give us, such as the solution of humanity being able to work together. Like, that's possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. And there'll be levels to it. There'll be people that will not want to cooperate. Like, I used to think, and I'll talk about this, then I'll shut up. I used to think there was going to be a worldwide or a global awakening, right? Where people were just going to, yeah, truth is definitely valuable. I mean, yeah, there's no more valuable than the truth. But I used to think there was going to be a mass awakening. And then as I thought more and more and realized that's not going to happen, it's not beneficial for it to happen either, because these people that are not aware of this other reality, if they join into, if someone just gave you a red pill out of the blue, it'll mess your head up. I mean, not that you couldn't acclimate to it, but just to go from start to stop is one thing. You know, most of us have came to this as a progression. Even Neo in the Matrix, it was a progression. He was looking for Morpheus. Morpheus was just a stranger. Like, hey, who was you? You know, it was a guy that he knew who he was looking for. So the thing is, in this journey, those that are looking, we're going to get together and we're going to put a vision out for the future that isn't seen now, of what human potential is, for those that have tapped into it, that are speaking from experience. Like, the thing is, and we mentioned it before, and I'll leave it on this slide because this is what I want to leave it on. Yeah, this right here. Nobody owns the truth, and there is no script. So that's the thing there. There is no script, and nobody owns the truth. So we're all on this ride, and you can see the games that they play. They're going to play with, like, they play with the ego. They play with your reputation and things of that nature. They try to gaslight you and things of that nature. But regardless of the person that I am, has nothing to do with the truth. You know, are these things true? You know, they do the whole straw man argument where, you know, they try to discredit the information by discrediting the person. You know, there's common tactics that you can see coming, and it's like playing chess. You see the moves coming. Oh, you're trying to do, like, oh, you want me to get mad at this point? Oh, okay. Oh, you just want me to. So when you see those, you know, just move here. You know, like, they don't know. Like, as soon as they sit down to play, they've lost. Like, they've already lost. That's why they don't want to play. Like, if what I'm saying is false, then it would be very easy to put me on TV and just shoot me down. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And not just me, like, this information is just, it's nonsense. I mean, right? It should be very easy. But they don't want to play that game. It's that game is the game of ignorance, right? They want to ignore, you know, play, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Let's hide under the rug. I didn't see it. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, we didn't see that there. So they play the game of ignorance and pretend like it didn't happen and show you this shiny thing over here, and move this over here. They don't need to see this. Show them this guy throwing the ball, or, look at how he can jump and look how fast he can run, or, whatever the distraction is. Look at this person or that person, whatever. So that's the game that they play. But when the person sees it and they really start questioning it, that's the journey for them. And I just want to get that person the ability to make that choice. It may be unrealistic to a large scale, but we'll see. I'm going to try. And this is part of that. So you're at least witnessing someone who is trying to do it on that scale. And the scale is a large scale. Like I mentioned before, like I want to be one of the goats. I mean, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to incarnate on this planet and go through all this crap of awakening and all this stuff. I mean, we're all going to witness and witness the other side and see what's over there. So I'm not in a rush to get there. I'll deal with that when it's my time. In the meantime, since I'm focused on being a focused being, a physical being, as we all are, then let's do the physical being thing to the best of our ability. Let's knock this thing out. Let's show the universe what a God as a physical being, as a human, can do. I mean, let's be that example. We've had examples of good ones, great ones. I mean, in a lot of different areas. So I want to be one of those, and you can be one of those too. The thing is, there's room for all of us to be one of those. I mean, this is a multi-dimensional, huge, infinite universe. So my light does not dim yours. I mean, look at how many suns are out there in the cosmos. That sun is shining as bright as it can, day in, day out, and that does not dim any other light that's out there doing the same thing. The sun doesn't let up. Even when you don't see it, it's still shining. And that's how you are. You're still shining. You're still, and the thing is, it's just covered up by all this smoke and all of this crap and all of these labels and all of this stuff that is not us, right? That's the situation. That's why we can't see the light that's us, because it's covered with all of this crap. So the spiritual journey is removing all of the crap, all of the stuff that you're not, to remove what you are, right? And that's what we're about. So that's why it's a situation that is difficult for the people that don't want this to get out to deal with, because I'm not adding anything to anything. It's not like I'm saying, well, they're saying you got to believe this. Well, I'm saying you got to believe this. Well, you need to believe this or this. You're going to believe this guy with this credibility and this status and this, or this guy with the shift hat out of nowhere. Well, odds are you're going to believe the guy that's you've been believing for years. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. That's marketing and that's Hollywood, right? But if I have nothing that I'm adding to it, this is who you are. This is removing things. So this is just asking questions. This is just really finding out about the being that you are. Have you ever really thought about like who is experiencing this? Who is seeing behind my eyes? Who is hearing myself speak right now? That same being that is hearing myself speak on this end, as crazy as it is the same being that is hearing myself speak on that end, right? Like we're the same being experiencing itself, the same consciousness experiencing its creation is different focal points. And as this focal point, one of my missions is to show other people that they are the same thing that we are, and we're focal points. And we can choose, each focal point being like a pixel, if you will, to change the screen of this reality to anything we want to see. 99% of the pixels are showing a picture. I mean, think about this. I mean, let's just look at this, for example. This is a roughing. And this is not even to scale, right? But this is how silly this is. Let's say this fish is the 99% of whatever, and this is 1%, right? This little thing is controlling the 99%. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It's a simple thing, but it is something that's powerful. It's something that we're experiencing now. It's the 99% of the people don't know, and we'll go back up here. Where's it at? Give me 1 second. We're coming to a landing. Is those 99% of the people don't know their value. So you got 99 pennies that don't know that they're a penny. And you got 1 penny that knows it's a penny that has the other 99 pennies thinking that they're less valuable. So this 1 penny controls 99. When the 99 pennies know their value, they realize, hey, we're the majority. There's 99 of us, 1 of them. We choose what gets done. We're not asking you for anything. This is what we're doing. And that's a different reality. And that's the one that we create. And it's an internal thing. But first you have to show them the value, because again, we've been programmed to need that authority figure, to need that boss, to need that person at the top that looks shiny with the suit, whatever, that authority figure, when that's us, that's who we are, right? So value is important. And this whole thing is about value, your self-worth, self-love, self-realization. What is that self? That's what it boils down to. And once we know that value, no one can take it from you. That's a priceless thing. And it changes you. It changes you as a being. It changes you as a being. It changes what you can do, what you think you can do. It opens up potentials, because you realize that the limits that you set are only set by you, unless you let someone else set them. But yeah, you have to test them to see if they're even real. Because if you can imagine it, can you imagine something that can't be created on some level, right? Yeah. Can we imagine the future that we can't create as humans? Can we come together as a think tank and imagine a future and simulate it down to the level? I like to simulate it to a high degree. I mean, we can simulate things in virtual reality. Let's show what this virtual world of higher consciousness looks like. We can do that. The same people. How would this do what you love, get what you love economy work, right? Just as a high level. Not saying it's going to be that, but that's what we shoot for. The future of humanity, you do what you love, you get what you love. Let's make it that simple, right? We have the resources here to do that. So the person does what they love and they get what they love. And our network facilitates that. That's our government. And that's in balance with the planet, right? That's the ideal state. That's the perfect environment. And that's not my idea. That came from a young girl when I asked her about the future that she would want to live in, as our future ancestors, the youngins. And that's what she said. And I asked her a couple of questions, like, okay, well, how would this work? And not getting into all of the details, but she put some thought into it and it made sense. And I didn't dismiss it as something that just a child would say, because we can learn a lot from children, and we should, because they just came in from that spiritual world. And people always talk about, well, where do you go when you die? Well, how many people are asking, well, where do you come? Where are you before you're born? They don't think about that as much as they think about, well, do you survive death? Well, obviously something is coming out of unbornness, which is what death is, and it's conscious. So obviously, it seems consciousness must survive that unbornness that is death, right? So anyway, it's just a little rant there. But I'm excited about talking to Zelani. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I want to hear what you got to say about the DAOs, because I like the ideas of decentralization. I'm not a big crypto holder in any way, but I like the idea of decentralization and open source, definitely. And we're open sourcing information, because there's a lot of people that hold this stuff because it's valuable. It's valuable. They say knowledge is power, and no one is half the battle in G.I. Joe. We're in spiritual warfare, and knowing who you are is definitely at least half the battle. That's a big portion of it. So there's definitely value here. So you and I are practically on the same figures. Yeah, we're gonna chop it up. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you joining in on the Zoom. Definitely appreciate you joining in on the TikTok. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to shut it down in a little bit. I tell you, talking for 2 hours, yeah, that's not a normal thing for me, but hopefully it wasn't boring. I know we touched on a lot of different things. You will see, as far as the TikTok things, like LB, maybe we can start with saving the planet as a necessary truth. Maybe we can start with saving the planet as a necessary truth. Yeah. It definitely, Janice. I mean, it's. I mentioned before, there's no backup. Like, and it's not easy, and that's why some people. I'm going different places. Anyway, Elon Musk mentioned some engineers will solve a problem that shouldn't be there, right? So you have an engineer trying to fix a problem that shouldn't be there in the first place. But the idea of removing that module from the whole equation altogether is not even in their mind. This is not working. The question of should this even be here is not even an option. Just fix it, right? So there's that part of it, as far as them trying to fix something. They're trying to solve a problem that shouldn't be here. Like, the problem is humans don't know how to balance with the earth. So we're going to move to a different planet and balance. But it doesn't work like that. You're just taking the problem from one place to another. And I know Elon said he wanted to preserve the light of consciousness on another planet. Well, how about preserving the light of consciousness here, if you're really concerned about Earth's future? But it is, we're not going to get another planet. It is definitely necessary. And we don't have a renewable planet, right? We have renewable resources on the planet. We don't have a renewable planet. So it's the only thing keeping us alive in this vastness. So for us to detriment that is not a good thing. But just like, as Eagle said earlier, some people have self-deprecating behavior, and they treat themselves badly. So, you say you want to help the planet, treat the planet nicely. Some people don't treat themselves nicely, don't treat their bodies nicely. So we got that to deal with now. But we're gonna close this up. Yeah. All righty, Jelani. It's good seeing you, man. Appreciate you coming through. And all righty. So appreciate y'all on TikTok. Thanks, Janice, and everyone else that joined. Thank you, Ego, Maria, Lex. Who else I saw in there? A few other. Michelle, you just joined. Thank you too for joining at the last minute. But we're gonna do this again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll do it again from 7 to 9, unless something changes. If so, I'll let you know. Appreciate y'all coming in on the Zoom, on the TikTok, and wish y'all a very prosperous and wonderful 2022. Be safe out there, and let's continue the conversation. If you get ideas, feel free to reach out to me. I'm trying to make these connections. This isn't my normal 9 to 5. This isn't what I get paid to do, but I love to align my passion with my profession. I don't know exactly how to do that, but that's what I've been working towards. So we'll see how it all comes together. So y'all have a good night. Love y'all. Peace.